Well, we now have on the line the Arima mayor to let us know what took place in that area overnight with the passage of Tropical Storm Brett. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Rishi. Morning.
Morning, Miss Lisa. How are you?
I'm fine. We had a very long. We were out and about since 5 a.m. yesterday, preparing Arima. But so far, so good. All the various state agencies, as mandated by our local government minister, they're working. They're on the ground. We're all actually at the same command center: TTPS, the Borough Police, TNTEC, WASA, and we just have some concerns about the flooding by the rivers, but no reports about that yet.
Yeah. We spoke earlier with a representative from the Degomartin Regional Corporation, and we were told that the roofs of homes were blown off. People had to be moved to get shelter elsewhere. What was it like for you all overnight? Were houses destroyed? Anything?
At least 2 houses had issues. We were able to move one family into a shelter, but mostly the complaints we got were about loose galvanized, not as drastic as Degomartin.
And in terms of injuries?
In case of what, sorry?
Injuries. Was anyone reported injured?
So
Nothing. So,
no, we have a lot of reports of trees though, and our corporation team has been out with the fire services trying to assist.
In terms of the utilities, in water and electricity, what can you tell us?
The biggest issue we have right now is water. Only the Hollis Dam, which will supply from Arima all the way to Matura. That's the only working dam right now. Everything else was shut off. With regards to electricity, just small pockets of Arima. But TNTEC crews are out there trying their best to restore power. I think right now our biggest concern really is the possibility of severe flooding. But our teams are out there, we're distributing sandbags, we're making sure that we do the best that we can under these circumstances.
And the shelters that would have been provided,
yeah.
How did those function overnight?
I must commend Upper Malabar Community Center in particular. The volunteers that came out and spent the entire night there. Also in Mount Pleasant, they both were under high, they were accessible, and we're quite pleased with both shelters, but in particular, the volume of people that turned out to assist in Upper Malabar Community Center was heartwarming, to say the least.
Into moving forward, what can we expect from the Arima Corporation?
We are accessible. We are there. You can call any counselor. You can call me at 799-8113. We have been out all night, and we plan to continue for the rest of the day. We're just asking our third volunteers to report to duty at the disaster unit headquarters on Mayaro Road, and we think that we have this under control.
And if people want to get in contact with you all, who do they call?
They can call me, 799-8113.
And thank you very much, the Mayor of Arima, for giving us an update as to what took place overnight. That was Miss Lisa Morris Julian, the Mayor of Arima. Now, members of the public, you can tell us what took place in your area overnight. If you have videos, pictures, you can share with us via our social media pages, our Facebook and Twitter at CNews Live. We are also inviting your calls right now to let us know what took place, if you're affected, how bad you were affected, hopefully not so bad. And to call us, you can get us in studio at 622-4141 extension 4. Before we take calls, we have to join the Member of Parliament for Mayaro, Mr. Rushton Paray, to give us an update as to what took place in his area, because we understand there was a lot of rain and heavy winds in the Mayaro area overnight. So good morning, Mr. Paray.
Hi, good morning.
What can you tell us? What took place in your area last night?
Well, basically from around 10 last night, the weather pattern went very, very bad. High winds combined with heavy rainfall, fair amount of havoc throughout the entire constituency until about 3 this morning. While the winds and rains would have subsided quite a bit, in the aftermath, it left several homes without roofs. We had about 10 reports coming into the DMU's office of homes where the roofs went flying. Right now we have about 6 or 7 areas also where trees have fallen across the road, and because it is intertwined with the electrical lines, TNTech is on standby waiting until they get the clearance to go and remove the lines, and then the fire services will come in to remove the trees. So if you just want to just quickly mention the areas where we have blockages on the road, so people maybe want to get out on and about this morning. On the Kunapo Southern Main Road in the Navet area, we have blockage. On the Arima Main Road in the pool area, there's a blockage. At Mylan on the Mayaro Road, there's also a blockage. There's extension in Rio Claro and Mahagan Singh on the Tabakit Road. These areas where massive trees are falling across the road, and because it's intertwined with the electrical lines, it's no-go until TNTech removes those lines. Other than that, we have reports of a bit of in the Lasbury area that's in Pool Village. It's streets on the Tabakit Road also. Now there could be more, but these are the reports that will have come in during the morning to our disaster management unit. So we expect to have quite a busy day today in terms of the cleanup exercise, and the Mayaro Rio Claro Regional Corporation's DMU is one of the most experienced DMU, I think, in the entire country. So I do expect that exercise to kick off very, very early this morning as soon as the health and safety people gives the all clear to get our teams out on the road this morning.
In terms of injuries?
Could you repeat that, sir?
In terms of injuries?
No injuries reported. What we do have is quite a bit of families that had to be removed with young children. As a matter of fact, at around 2 this morning, the Rio Claro police, led by Inspector Janki, had to remove a family from a home where the entire roof went out, and the family had to be housed at the police station. So, while there were no injuries, I know there was a disposition of families during the night because of the extreme weather patterns.
So they would have been taken to shelters?
Yes. What we've tried to do here in Mayaro, the shelters are really our option. During our public information exercise on the run-up yesterday, we told people try as much as possible. If you encounter difficulties in your home, make arrangement. Or if you expect to have difficulties, try and make arrangement with neighbors or close relatives that you can move to, and that the shelters would have been your point of last resort. All shelters were activated yesterday, and I do not believe much were in use as far as the reports that I get this morning, but we will double check this morning to see if any family did relocate to the shelters. But as far as the information that I have at this time, there were no relocation to shelters during the day.
In terms of food supply and that kind of thing for people's homes which would have been blown off?
Right. Well, we have this morning, I do know some efforts were made to provide some meals to a couple of the families that were removed, especially families removed to the police station. But we do have this morning, the Passage the Food King has put in place over 100 hampers and 200 cases of water that we can start a distribution process as early as we get the clearance this morning to get into areas. The local government councils will be out on the road early this morning, all the aldermen. We have a very, very powerful team. Even up to yesterday evening, Senator Rambarad support to our team, and he's been very, very instrumental with his support, and he has a cadre of volunteers who also came on board last night. So we really have a good combined effort to attack the problem this morning. plus all the systems we put in place since yesterday morning around 8 o'clock. So it's a good effort. We do have food supplies, we do have water. What we would probably need later on today, as more information comes in, maybe mattresses, clothing for children. I guess those are the things that are normally damaging these types of incidents. Those things will become clearer as we get out there this morning, and I guess we'll make the relevant calls to get assistance from the public and private sector as we go forward.
Yeah, Mr. Paray, one last question. How did the Mayaro to Manzanilla strip hold up the road? I know recently...
Good. As a matter of fact, we've had the Mayaro police since around 1 this morning, led by Sergeant Mikey Williams. They've been in constant patrol throughout the area. I know as of 4:30 this morning, they traveled straight up to the Plummet Bridge, and while there was some debris on the road, more coconuts and branches, there were no blockages on the road. So as far as I know, as of now, that Manzanilla Road, it's up and running, no blockages.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Rushton Paray, the Member of Parliament for Mayaro